You see, the recent interview of Kenneth Okonkwo, where he has alleged that he wants the coalition to hand its ticket to a northerner, or he wants a northern presidential candidate to emerge from the coalition, goes to show how he is unintelligent with the events or political activities that happen in Nigeria. You see, he claims that if the coalition would achieve any success, then it must be a northern candidate against Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And in his flawed idea, or in his flawed analysis of event or of what to expect in 2027, he alluded to 2015, where Muhammad Buhari, defeated the incumbent of Goodluck Jonathan or the PDP. And so, is he correct about that? I would argue differently. I still believe that Muhammad Buhari, in a free and fair contest, would never have defeated Goodluck Jonathan. And the facts are there. However, when the coalition of the APC was formed, you would see that there were people who were in that coalition that also wanted to be president. A lot of them were in that coalition that were interested in being president, and chief amongst them was Bola Ahmed Tinubu. However, if Bola Ahmed Tinubu should have contested that election, he probably had the chance of winning because he has the money, he has the resources, he has the capacity to do that. He has the thuggery that Nigerian elections need. But then he understands that Nigeria politics has a little touch of sentiment in it. Power is rotational in this country. It is not constitutional. However, the sentiment is there that power should be rotated across region, the south and the north. And so he understood that to take power from a southern candidate who had previously agreed that he was just going to run for 4 years and to complete the ticket of the 8-year ticket of Yaradua and Goodluck Jonathan. After that, he was now seeking re-election to do 8 years for himself, which was against the agreement that he had with the North when he was seeking re-election in 2011. If you understand these events very well, people like El Rufai will tell you that these are what happened. The likes of Nyako, the likes of Wamako, and lot of northern governors who walked out on the PDP National Convention in 2014. If you remember very well, there were 5 governors. Those 5 governors tipped the electoral results against Goodluck Jonathan. Rotimi Amaechi had his own personal issue with Goodluck Jonathan and the wife, which was one of the major reasons why he joined the 5 governors who rebelled against him and switched to the APC and tipped the results against him. However, the actual truth is that Goodluck Jonathan made an agreement with the North that he was just going to complete the ticket he had with Yaradua, which was an 8-year ticket, which should have been an 8-year ticket. And they agreed, they allowed him contest in 2015 and he won. However, being, definitely as an incumbent, the greed to want to run again, to want to complete 8 years would be there. And he was, by law, he had all it takes to be, to run for the election. He insisted he was going to run against the agreement they already had in 2010, prior to 2011 election. The agreement that was reached in 2010 against 2011 election, was what got him the northern support that, helped him win the election against Muhammadu Buhari. Remember, Muhammadu Buhari has been running before 2015 when he won. Subsequently, when he began to nurse the ambition to run in 2015, a lot of voices began speaking up against him, the likes of Atiku Abubakar, even Olusegun Obasanjo, were voices who steadily campaigned against him, stating that this was not the agreement we had with you. You were to complete an 8-year ticket of Yaradua and Goodluck Jonathan. Your contesting in 2015 is going to lead into crisis within the party. But he insisted, and he was hell-bent on running for 2015, leading Atiku to leave the party. And a lot of, including El Rufai, a lot of them left the party. Some would cite, external influence, which I agree to, because the entire bring back our girls protest by Aisha Yusufu and some of them, had so much of CIA, touch on it. Everybody knowing. If you don't know it yet, you are just lying to yourself. For instance, let me just give you a very distant idea of how CIA works. Remember in 1966 when they removed the former president of Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah, exactly the same template. The other one was just a coup, but because what we have now is a democratic coup, so they just patched it up with democratic coup and removed Goodluck Jonathan. Is the same template, exactly the same thing. Turn the people against Goodluck Jonathan, turn the people of Ghana against Kwame Nkrumah. Exactly what happened. But then we are not citing external factors here. We are just looking at internal politics, that removed Goodluck Jonathan, and internal politics that suggest that Kenneth Okonkwo is not as informed on Nigerian politics as he actually sometimes claimed to know. The point is this: power is rotational in Nigeria. No matter how you want to look at it, power is rotational. It goes from the south and to the north. 8 years in the south, 8 years in the north. It is that simple. And so when you claim that only a northerner can unseat Tinubu, that's a pathological lie. You just think that Atiku Abubakar is also ready to fight to wrestle for power. He's also willing to do whatever it takes to take power, just like Bola Ahmed Tinubu said in 2023 when he was, speaking with his party members that power is not a la carte. You have to fight, kill, and do whatever you have to do to get power. So he just feels like Atiku is that kind of person, and he just wants to be in power by all means, whatever means possible. He wants to be in power. That is just what he's fighting for. And Obi is not willing to do something like that. Obi is the Goodluck Jonathan's people who believes that the people should decide what they want. The people should fight for what they want, and exactly what it is. He has said he's not desperate to be president. I can guarantee that Obi will not run for president after 2027. I can tell you for fact. Maybe 8 years later, he probably might, if he's, still feels like he has something to offer. But I can assure you that Obi will not run for president after 2027. This is a southern presidency. Power must remain in the south. That is just it. The moment ADC, that's the coalition, hands ticket to Atiku, APC will activate this particular argument that power should not go to the north, is this turn of the south. They will activate this thing and they will campaign on it, and a lot of people will buy it, especially southern votes, because that is exactly what Atiku is looking for. The reason why Atiku lost election in 2023 was because Obi took majority of the vote that should have gone to him in the south, and not central. He could have won, but then because of that reason, there was absolutely no way he was going to edge Tinubu in the election. And to be frank with you, on the altar of who should be president, where power should be, Obi should not even listen to whatever opportunity that the coalition is going to offer to him, maybe a vice presidential ticket and a vice presidency slot and stuff like that. No, it is not the turn of the north. It is the turn of the south, and he has everything it takes to be president. I think Atiku, in the last election, Atiku just barely had over 500,000 votes more than Obi. So what is the difference? Obi is not Kwankwaso that had just 1 million votes. That man put almost 7 million votes. So why are you telling me that he cannot? In fact, if somebody like, I'm going to give an instance right now. One of the major persons who believes that power should be shared and who should not make the mistake Atiku made in 2015 is El Rufai. El Rufai is 65, I believe, still very young. In the next 4 years, he should be 69. He wouldn't even be up to 70. Or maybe in the next 6 years, because he should be in his early 70s. And he is willing to run. I know the ambition is there to run. If the rotation gets to the north, definitely El Rufai will want to be president. So if he's smart, he should not make the mistake Atiku made in 2015. Because if Atiku had stayed with PDP and supported Goodluck Jonathan, if Goodluck Jonathan had emerged and completed his 8 years, the South wouldn't have had the 8 years we are having now. It would have gone to the north, and Atiku would have taken the ticket easily, and he would have won the election, because by right PDP would zone its presidency to the north and he would take it. However, he believed that if we reach an agreement and if we are being fair to ourselves, power should return to the north. In fact, the ticket Goodluck Jonathan was on is a northern ticket, and so this was their belief that made them leave the PDP. So what is now different? Why is he hell-bent? If you accommodated a northern president, a Buhari, to run for president, why are you unwilling to allow South enjoy their turn? Why are you unwilling? So El Rufai should be smart, very smart. You have inherited the CPC from Muhammadu Buhari. You are the one who is majorly in charge of that block of votes. You and Malami are the major people who have always been following Muhammadu Buhari all this while. It's very easy. It will be very easy for you if the coalition is not willing to give the South power, which you have even stated that it has to be a Southern candidate. Team up with Peter Obi. Look at different platforms you can, or if you are willing to give him the votes that what's it called, in the primaries, to give him all your support and make sure he emerges, then it will be fairer for El Rufai. If you make the mistake of backing an Atiku against Tinubu, number one, you are going to lose, because the APC would have something to bargain with Nigerians. It is the turn of the South. It is a very simple thing. It will fly. And another thing is this: Peter Obi cannot come to the coalition knowing that it is the turn of the South and he would walk away from it. No, he's never going to do that. And in the absence of an Obi's vote, you know how Atiku performed very poorly in the last election. Struggled to win 12 states. Is that what you want? No. So be smart about your moves and calculate very well. All the effort you have to put it on Peter Obi, and he will deliver the presidency. I like politics of vendetta. I like what El Rufai is doing. If me and you first be friends for politics, and on the long run you betray me, anything I go do to come out from government, I will do it. Now, so my own life be. You understand? He's even been very, not to overstep boundary. You go do anyhow. That's the game. If you are betrayed by a friend in politics, the person stays an enemy. Whatever you need to do, whatever game you need to play, you play it, and